Legends Arceus is the best piece of Pokemon media in modern day. I think the best made Pokemon game of all time is Legends Arceus, and I think Pokemon has really lost its spark when it comes to making innovative Pokemon games. Most modern Pokemon games have visible issues that make the games feel either blank or just straight up not Pokemon anymore. Scarlet and Violet, on top of all the bugs, looks like Play-Doh. BDSP didn't even remake the actual good Gen 4 game that was Pokemon Platinum. The game, to me and a lot of other people, felt like a mediocre Pokemon game, but Legends Arceus was completely different. Legends Arceus was the first open world Pokemon game, and although it wasn't as good looking as Breath of the Wild, it still looked pretty dang good. The art style change into this more cartoony style felt so much better than the more realistic style that Scarlet and Violet had. This might just be me, but the art style change looked very reminiscent of the Studio Ghibli films, which is kinda cool actually. And who doesn't like Studio Ghibli's art style? Come on, it's phenomenal. The game feels like it found the perfect balance between the anime-like style of the traditional Pokemon games and the realistic approach they were going for in Scarlet and Violet. For me, this art style change was just so clean, man. One massive leap this game took was also in the gameplay, where they introduced the agile and strong style of Pokemon moves. And the best part about it is that every single Pokemon can use it. And this gimmick had some actual strategy behind it as well. The agile style would give you priority as well as give you your turn back faster. Meanwhile, strong style gave a significant boost in damage at the cost of losing turns in the action order. This mechanic alone gave the Pokemon franchise the much needed innovation to overall gameplay. And they even went a step further with the interactive elements between all the different lords. I would be dodging and weaving like I was Neo. The gameplay felt so much more fun and engaging knowing you had to pick and choose which style would best fit each individual Pokemon. It also rewarded grinding so you can master your Pokemon's movesets in order to use this mechanic. This made it stand out amongst other Pokemon games on top of being the first open world Pokemon game. And I obviously mean that in a literal sense. But this game went even further beyond. Not only did they upgrade the gameplay and even turn the entire game into a full-fledged open-world RPG, the game was also, dare I say, the greatest Pokemon story behind Black and White. This game blew every other story in Pokemon games history out of the freaking water. The game has Arceus teleport you into the past in order to stop a great calamity on the horizon, since of course he can't intervene himself. I'll also have a video that talks about why Arceus didn't intervene in the future, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on when it drops. Then Akari was tasked with becoming a ranger for Team Galaxy and stopping the different lords. And after she essentially saves the entire world, the crack in the sky gets even worse, and the entire village minus Adamon and Irida turn on her and blame her for these catastrophes. And they outcast her into the wild, so essentially they sent her to die, which in this game were like 15 or 16, so basically sending a kid to their death. The reason why this betrayal hurts is because it's done in a way where you can't really defend Akari. Akari was viewed as the villain here, and Kamado, the chief of the village, is the one to banish her. And, well, can you really blame him? He is tasked with protecting the entire village, and this random chick knows exactly what to do to save the day, and yet somehow it made things even worse? Like, how are you supposed to react to that knowing that one wrong move could cost you the lives of the entire village? The betrayal here is done so well because there's nothing to really clear Akari's innocence. And even the people you trusted don't trust in you, and when Akari is outcasted, no one helps her except Volo. Which obviously fills you with joy. Someone still has hope in you despite everything that's happened up until now. It makes Akari feel like she's not alone. And when they finally beat Dialga and Palkia, everything goes back to normal and Akari is brought back into the village with open arms, which in and of itself is still kind of messed up. But in the post-game, all of that is shattered as it's revealed Volo was the one orchestrating everything that's happened by using Giratina. And let me tell you, it was a crazy plot twist. It's done so well that even for a Pokemon game, it wasn't that obvious. Many people fell in love with the character, including myself, and the fact that Volo is Cynthia's counterpart made it so much more impactful. This betrayal hits harder because this entire time you think that Volo is the only person to actually have your back since day one. And it even got me. I did not expect Volo to be the main villain this entire time because he was, Cynthia's counterpart, so I thought he would be just as good as Cynthia. But in reality, he was just using you to get what he wanted, power. And one of the things about this game that made it even better was that the fight was incredibly challenging, something I think was lost since Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon with Necrozma. The game was pretty challenging for having so little battle, so I greatly appreciated that. By the way, I just want to say thank you for watching my video, and you can subscribe if you want more content like this, but you don't have to. It's completely free though, in case you were wondering. Thank you, friends. I think one thing that I also appreciate about Legends Arceus was how it didn't mess with any online mode either. Although it would have been nice to have a co-op mode, I really am glad that it didn't have any online features since it made it feel more like a single player adventure. Not to mention you weren't forced to have two different copies of the game so you can get the other Pokemon, or have to trade certain Pokemon to evolve them. All the Pokemon that normally evolve using held items through trade just evolve by their their held items instead. This feature was such an amazing quality of life, and to this day, I still miss it. It's also crazy to see the amount of people that also really hated Legends Arceus as well. The same people that were complaining about Pokemon being the same thing every year also hated on Legends Arceus for being too different. Kind of insane thinking if you ask me. But hey, regardless, it was still a successful Pokemon title, racking up a grand total of 14 million copies sold, and I think the general public really appreciated this game too. Now, I do think that Legends Arceus had some issues. I don't think by any means it is a perfect game. For starters, I think some of the landscapes were just very bland and boring. I think it would have helped if there were shacks or even small structures scattered across the map, but oh well. It wasn't a Breath of the Wild, but it was still a very fun experience to explore nonetheless. Another issue I think the game had was definitely post-game content. I think I finished the game in roughly 30 plus hours, and that was also me taking my time collecting Pokemon. I do revisit the game casually every now and then, but I do wish there were more things to do. And I also wish there were more crafting elements in the game to make it feel like more of an RPG. Because gathering materials to craft your own items was such a fun experience, man. Because going out in the wild to gather materials for your items and your Pokeballs and your potions was just so fun. And I also wish the side quests were a bit better. Instead of 90% of them being just fetch quests, it would have been more fun that way. A amazing story second to Black and White, gameplay that keeps the core of Pokemon the same while breathing new life into it, and an art style that, dare I say, is still the best art style we have gone so far in 3D Pokemon. It almost felt like I was playing Pokemon for the first time again, especially with the amount of new variants of Pokemon as well. This game perfectly captured the old and ancient vibe it was going for. A lot of why I enjoyed this game so much was because the atmosphere felt different. It felt like a different Pokemon game, which is what I think complemented the art style very well. Legends Arceus is the best 3D Pokemon game, and it's not even close. Which is why after I finished playing Legends Arceus, I expected great things coming from Scarlet and Violet, and well, we didn't quite get that. Now, one thing we did get from Scarlet and Violet was a very good story, albeit a bit more grounded, but great nonetheless. It might be a hard pill to swallow, but we might not even have an experience like Legends Arceus again. The art style looks more in tune with Scarlet and Violet, and it seems like the environment isn't as exciting as Legends Arceus either. But of course, that could be subject to change in the future. Who knows? But guys, what do you think of Legends Arceus? Do you think it was mid or even downright horrible? Or do you guys think it was genuinely one of the best Pokemon games of all time? Let me know in the comment section below, as I do read a lot of my comments. But that's all Yuki wrote, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.